Marc The Shark MMA Show.
Hi guys, this is Marc The Shark Ritorto, and welcome to the Marc The Shark MMA Show live on Twitch. I appreciate you guys keeping up and watching me. Make sure you follow. If you happen to have a Amazon Prime account, you can actually subscribe for free. And don't forget to follow me on my social media pages. The Marc The Shark MMA Show on Facebook, Marc BJJ Fighter on Twitter, and Marc_Ritorto on Instagram. And again, it's Marc with a C and not a K. And also don't forget to go to the website, marcthesharkmmashow.com, where you can make a donation to help support the contest. And you can also get t-shirts and hoodies, kind of like this one that I'm wearing here. Not too shabby, right? And also don't forget that me and my daughter's got books that we have both written. Hers is called the Invisible Girl series. Mine, I have two. One's called The Cabal, The Saga Begins. And my second book, which is out right now, is called Marcus the Vampire. It's the first book in the Dark World Chronicle series. So check it out at www.ritortofamilybooks.com. All right, guys. When we come back, we'll start the show. I am sure you're going to love it. This week's episode is great. Make sure you follow me every week on this channel on Saturday. And don't forget that I also have a podcast, the Marc The Shark MMA Show, which is available on Podbean.
This podcast episode is brought to you by Defense Soap. Defend what you have built. Save 15% with the code Marc The Shark MMA Show, used by all jiu-jitsu and MMA athletes to prevent skin infections. This podcast is also brought to you by Audible. Go to www.audibletrial.com/MMA Show, and you get a free audiobook when you sign up for a 30-day trial. This podcast episode is also brought to you by Ritorto Family Books. If you're interested in great books for your children to read, get books by Kristina Ritorto. And if you're interested in action, thriller, suspense books, you can get The Cabal, The Saga Begins, or fantasy books like Marcus the Vampire, both written by your host, Marc The Shark Ritorto. Again, go to www.ritortofamilybooks.com. Also, do not forget to go to the Marc The Shark MMA Show podcast website, the shop for our merchandise. We got t-shirts, hoodies, tank tops, hats, and even mugs. Anything you can want with the Marc The Shark MMA Show podcast name on it. And also, please do not forget to go to our website where you can make a donation to support the podcast. All you have to do is click on the donation button.
Hi, everybody. We're back on the show. Today, we got a very special guest, MMA fighter Gage Looby. How you doing today, Gage?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, man. So where are you from, Gage?
From Queens, New York.
From where?
Queens, New York.
Oh, Queens. Oh, all right. Not far from me. You're from, I'm in New Jersey.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. So give us a little background on yourself. Like, how'd you get into the martial arts and how'd you get into MMA and so forth?
I started getting into martial arts really. I started watching, like UFC and everything. And I always wanted to be like those people. Like, my favorite fighter was Tito Ortiz. Like, I was like, hey, one day, I want to be like Tito. So I decided, I should get into mixed martial arts.
Ah. So did you start out wrestling or?
Yeah, I actually wrestled for my varsity team in high school.
Ah. Yeah, you look like you're still in high school. You look young, dude.
Yeah, a lot of people look at me like that. They're like, oh, he's still young. Nah, I'm really not. It's the youth.
Yeah. So how many fights have you had so far?
So far, I had 17.
You have 17 fights?
Yeah.
Now, how old are you?
21.
You had 21 fight? And you started at what age? 17?
No, I'm 20. I'm 21. I had 17 fights.
That's what I'm saying. You had 17 fights? And how long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it now for almost 4 years.
Oh wow, man! You're more active than the average dude, man. Most guys don't have that many fights, but in a couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, like, cause to me, I don't decline a fight. You know, if even if they say if I have one fight and they tell me within like 2 weeks, oh, we have an opening, do you want it? I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna take it. I don't have a problem with taking a fight.
Oh, that's great, man. Wow. And you do a lot of your fights in New York, or do you travel?
A little bit about travel.
I can hear you broke up. You said you travel a lot?
Yeah, I travel a lot, but lately I've been staying in New York.
Oh wow. What's the furthest place you ever traveled to for an MMA fight?
Um, wow, Indiana.
Oh, that is a hike from New York. I'm assuming you flew there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Are you pro now, or I'm assuming you're pro if you said 17. You're still amateur?
yeah. I haven't turned pro yet because I've been doing kickboxing too. I haven't really been having MMA fights lately.
Okay. Are you amateur kickboxing or?
Yeah,
Okay.
man.
All right. Now, what organization do you fight with the kickboxing? Is it Thai boxing or is it like American kickboxing?
It's like American kickboxing.
Okay. And where do you train at them in Queens?
I don't actually train in Queens. I train in Brooklyn.
Oh, where do you train in Brooklyn?
I train at the UFC gym in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know they're all over the place. They had one around here. I don't know if they might have closed. I know they closed a few of them. Even prior to COVID, they closed. But
Because
yeah,
not a lot of people want to stay put and actually pay those prices.
yeah, it's a bit of. It's not like a normal gym though, right? Like you're paying, you could pay to work out, like lift weights and do aerobic classes, but then they got the martial arts.
Yeah, the way I take the aerobics class, like for cardio and everything. Then right after, I pay for like a private session and everything, working with one of the teachers, and they're teaching me straight up Muay Thai and everything.
And then they charge you separately, like for Muay Thai and I'm assuming you're doing jiu-jitsu, or is it included?
Everything's included. It's a whole private thing.
Yeah, I looked into that. The only reason I never joined is because they were mostly like all the morning and afternoon classes. Because I worked in Hoboken.
Yeah.
And it was a UFC gym in Hoboken, and they had a good jiu-jitsu guy there. They had a couple of guys from Marcelo Garcia's school there. I forget the guy's name. One of them was a world champion, Gianni, I think his name was. Gianni, for Marcelo Garcia. He was originally a brown belt for Henzo's, and then he went to Marcelo Garcia's school in New York City. But then he taught some classes there. But they never had the jiu-jitsu classes on my lunch hour. They always had, and in the morning, it was always kickboxing in the afternoon and then kickboxing in the morning. But yeah, maybe when it's...
That's why I had to like fix my work schedule so I could like balance it out so they can have it.
Yeah. And then I do remember doing it was a Christmas Eve before I left that job, like because I took a different job. I moved out of Hoboken, and they actually had a open mat, and they had a whole bunch of like black belts and brown belts there. It was a pretty cool mat because I still had to go to work, but I went there on my lunch hour to work out. You had Gianni Grippo, who's the world champion for Marcelo Garcia. You had I forget the guy's name. He's the owner of Pure MMA. The one of the Main brothers, I think it's Mike Main or something. His brother is like the king of pancreas. And they had a couple other well-known like jiu-jitsu guys there. So I got to roll around with them. So that was pretty cool. And I wish they had that more often. Because I could have got my workouts in the afternoon.
It's kind of a sacrifice to try to fix everything into one little lunch break.
Yeah. So when you fight, you say you fight under the UFC gym, or do you just say you're fighting by yourself?
I fight under UFC gym, but I'm also in partnership with Go USFC. It's a former kickboxer, Phil LeGrand.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm under his. So I fight under them. I fight under them as well.
And then are you? Did you go to college too, or you just skipped college? Oh, are you in college now?
No, I'm done.
Okay. What was your major?
Mechanical engineering.
Oh shit! You must be a whiz with math, right? That's a lot of math, right?
No, it's more math, but it's also like more creativity.
Okay. Yeah, that's not an easy degree though.
If you don't have the mindset to do it, a lot of people mostly drop out of it.
Ah. So what are your plans now? Are you going to turn pro soon? Or are you just doing this as a hobby? Or are you trying to like make this as a living down the line? Like, what are you trying to do?
I want to turn pro, but this whole COVID situation like really ruined everything.
Yeah.
I wanted to turn pro this year, but they shut everything down. I was like, great. So it looks like I got to wait till next year.
Yeah. But is that your plan to turn pro and do this as a living?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, okay. Now, would you stay in New York or would you move out to like Vegas or something?
Oh man, that's kind of Vegas. Now, I'm more of a California kind of person, so
Yeah.
Vegas.
Go somewhere warm, right? Nice and sunny.
It's cool. Vegas is cool, but it's like California is more known. It's better area.
Yeah. Yeah, they got a lot of good jiu-jitsu guys out there too. That's where actually it got started first before.
And a lot of people be working out. So.
Yeah. So now, in terms of kickboxing, how many kickboxing matches have you had?
I've had 9.
9. Wow. Did you get any belts? Because sometimes do you do the tournaments, or is it like one fight and you're done, or do you do tournaments as well for kickboxing?
It's just one fight and I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I fight a couple of guys and I go to a championship match.
Okay. Have you won any belts or anything like that, or?
Not in New York. Not in New York. That's one of my goals to win in New York.
Okay. What about an MMA side? Have you won any amateur belts?
I have won. I've only won 2 so far.
Okay. Have you fought that the Ring of Cage, or I think that's the one I'm thinking of, Lou Negatives, the one that's in Long Island? Ring of Combat.
Yeah, Ring of Combat. No, I fought for Triton Fights.
Okay.
Yeah, I fought for Triton Fights, Victory Cage Fighting, Full Contact Promotions, Cage Wars,
Okay.
Jackhammer Promotions, BX Cage Fight. I'm around.
Oh wow. So, so do you still follow Tito Ortiz or what?
Who doesn't?
Yeah, the guy's he always had a way about him, right?
I mean, if you don't know who Tito Ortiz is, that's like, you're somebody the greatest, and you don't even know Tito Ortiz.
Yeah.
Like
now, did you see his last fight with the Iceman? I think that was. Did you see that they had their last match? I think a year or 2 ago.
Yeah, but it's like in Bellator. I don't really pay attention to Bellator like that.
Actually, it wasn't in Bellator. It was Oscar De La Hoya was trying to start his own MMA promotion.
Oh, yeah. If it wasn't UFC, I wasn't really.
So you just follow the UFC. You don't follow Bellator or anything like that.
I follow Bellator, but I'm not as intrigued like UFC.
Yeah.
Because with the whole GOAT situation with Khabib, I feel there's other GOATs, but people have their own opinion.
Yeah. And they got some good fighters over in Bellator. You get that Patricio Pitbull. Then you got that.
I think I low-key want to see Pitbull in UFC. I want to see what he can really do.
Yeah, and then you got that guy Mike. You ever seen Michael Venom? You heard of Michael Venom? Page?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're into kickboxing, that's the guy to watch, man. He break dances while he's beating people's asses up. Yeah.
The one person I really watch from Bellator, Patchy Nicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watch Patchy Nicks. So
yeah,
I'm Disappointed he lost that championship fight, but I know he's gonna win it someday.
Yeah, they got a lot of good fighters, and then they got the Chandler just moved over. We'll see how he does because he's not a young chicken anymore. He's got some mileage on him.
I like the UFC because everybody's trying to move up. Everybody's trying to take a title.
Yeah.
Like, everybody wants to be like Conor. Everybody wants to be like Ronda. They want to hold double champion. Amanda Nunes. They want to win double champion.
Yeah.
Some people want to, which I feel that's if you can maintain the weight, yeah.
Yeah. Now, what do you do when you're not training for a fight?
Just working.
Working? Like, where do you work? If you're allowed to tell us.
I work for Amazon.
You work for Amazon?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I like that company. I got stock in it, man.
Yeah.
It's one of the few benefits of COVID. Stock prices tripled. Yeah, man. I use it.
And two, we're not like other people. We're essential, so we have to stay in business.
Yeah. They're a good company, man.
They first told about like, oh damn, I'm out of a job. And then my boss called me. He was like, no, you're coming to work tomorrow. I said, oh, okay.
Yeah, man. I use them regularly, man. I use them for everything,
That's how you get everything. And now they're starting to get into the food business too. So a lot of people ain't gonna really do much.
Yeah, they're into everything, man. Food, Whole Food. They got the contract with Whole Foods. I think they even deliver food now, right? Like if you want to, I think they're trying to get like Uber Eats eventually, or what's the other one? DoorDash or Grubhub.
More Uber Eats. I'm more of an Uber Eats guy. DoorDash is like.
I've never used DoorDash. I use either Uber Eats or Grubhub, but I heard that Amazon's going to get into that.
Yeah, I never used Grubhub. I only like Uber Eats is my thing.
Yeah.
Too lazy to cook Uber Eats. Like.
Yeah. So how often do you get to? Has your gym closed down at all because of the COVID? I'm assuming they did in the beginning, right?
Yeah, at the beginning they didn't, but then when our governor really forced the issue, they had to shut down. So I started training outside, getting up early, going around doing cardio and everything, shadow boxing. I couldn't really contact with my teammates or anything. We had to stay away.
Yeah, you didn't have any close personal friends that you might have like both of you agreed to quarantine yourself away from other people so that you guys can train. You didn't have any arrangements like that with any of your teammates?
I did with one guy, and then we trained for 2 hours, and then he was like, "Oh no, I'm leaving."
Yeah, it's hard, man.
No, because we were supposed to shadow box and we were supposed to hit each other, but for some reason he tried to lean to his right, and I punched him by mistake. And then he started bleeding, and he was like, "Nah, I'm gone." I was like, "Yo, my fault. I didn't know I hit you that
hard." Yeah. Now, do you have a training place in your house to train it when you don't go to the gym, like mats and stuff, or no?
Yeah, I have a whole weight room, mats downstairs. Try to work on everything.
That's cool. Do you have any? You have any fights coming up now?
I have a virtual sparring event for BX Cage fights. We just had one. It's like the virtual sparring thing is more like it's not sanctioned or anything, but it's like a bunch of guys in the gym getting together and we're going head to head with each other.
Oh, so you film yourself fighting and then you stream it on the internet?
Yeah, say you see how we're doing the Zoom conversation now? It's like that. We're on Zoom and we're streaming everything.
But the guy's in the room when you're fighting him?
Yeah. The same
okay.
guys. We got to get tested before anything. We can't go against each other, and one of us got COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, they said that's supposed to be in January. That's what my coach said. So.
And is that on YouTube or something, or how do people watch it?
You can watch it via Zoom. You just put in the code and everything that goes through, and then you watch it. Because I think that's what a lot of promotions want to do. They want to make it to where they could do it virtual, but we're not doing MMA. It's straight kickboxing.
Oh, okay. And where does that take place? Do you go to a boxing gym for that?
Yeah, I go to a boxing gym in the Bronx.
Okay, and then a guy meets you there, and then you guys just film each other.
Yeah, we basically do everything. You know, we weigh in, make sure we're the right weight or whatever.
Okay.
It's basically an exhibition because we don't know when this is going to end.
Yeah, yeah. Now, are the rounds shorter because it's exhibition or the same?
It's about the same. It really depends on what class you're trying to get into, what weight class you're trying to be in.
Okay. Because I know usually exhibition, they may make it like 1 round shorter. They may make the minutes shorter.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they make it 3 2-minute rounds.
Okay.
Thing where we're used to fighting like 3 5-minute or 3 3-minute rounds. Like, 2 minutes. That's nothing. That's a cakewalk.
Yeah. Now what do you prefer to do more of, the kickboxing matches or the MMA matches?
I prefer MMA, but like I said before, due to this COVID, I'm gonna do kickboxing until it's time to get back in MMA.
Now, have you done any like jiu-jitsu matches or boxing matches?
No.
Have you thought about doing that, like just to mix it up?
Maybe a little boxing, yeah. Because like when I do kickboxing, I'm not like most of the other guys. Most of these guys are like Muay Thai masters and everything. They're like Muay Thai masters. They want to kick you more than they want to actually fight you. And I'm more of a stand up guy. I want to like fight you.
Ah, okay. That's cool. That's cool.
Actually, this time actually helps me out because for MMA, it helps me work on my ground game more.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting because I know some guys that like, I think I interviewed a lot of guys. I think they were like from Mississippi or something like that. They have like a lot of MMA fighters. And what they do, I forget the name of their gym. I've interviewed a lot of guys from one of the guys was on the UFC Contender Series, and he actually won, but he just didn't get a contract.
Oh wow!
With a lot of those guys, is they do everything. They do MMA matches, then they do the boxing matches, like Golden Gloves. Then they'll do jiu-jitsu matches.
Yeah, like New York and Jersey, they're shut down, so we can't really do as much without getting in trouble.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that changes soon, right?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I say summertime, we'll probably get back to everything.
Yeah. I hope so. Now, do you got any sponsors at all, or no?
I got a few, but it's not really as much.
Would you want to mention them on the show to let everybody know, like, who your sponsors are, this way your sponsors get happy that you mention them, or not?
Yeah, we actually just came out with new shorts and everything. They're called Raw Power.
Okay.
So yeah, and I'm also coming out with new T-shirts and everything. It's basically talking about everybody standing your ground, stand up. Everybody has a voice. Because a lot of fighters want to fight now, but until we say something to our government, they're not going to allow us to fight. So it's basically stand up, say everything, stand up, stop shooting, save lives, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Every message that's out there today.
I hear you. Now, if other sponsors or people want to get or MMA promoters that are watching this or listening to this podcast want to get in touch with you, what's the best way of them to get in touch with you? Like your Facebook page or your Twitter page? What's the best one?
You can get in touch with me through Facebook, Instagram, or email. It don't matter to me.
And then your Facebook page is what again?
Gage Burke.
Gage Burke. All right, Gage. Well, it was great having you on the show. Everybody, this is Gage Looby. Be out to look out for him. What's the name of the event that's going to be on Zoom in January again?
It's going to be called BX Cage Fight Virtual Sparring. There
you go. Check that out. He's a new and upcoming fighter, very well experienced. So if there's any MMA promoters that are looking for, a guy to turn pro, check him out. All right, Gage. It was great having you on the show, and enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
All right, guys. We'll be back after the short break. All right, guys. We'll be right back, but first a word from our sponsors.
During World War II, I was in prison in a Nazi camp. I died there, or so I thought. Instead, I became a creature of the dark world. Now I fight to protect my daughter. I am Marcus the Vampire. The book is now available at Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com and RitortoFamilyBooks.com.
All right, guys, this week's episode is done on a live show. But if you happen to be listening to this in the podcast format, keep listening because there's more content to follow. All right, guys, see you guys next week.